Entering the Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings. Week 2, best bets, gold, silver, bronze. Easy stuff, right? You know what's even easier? Smashing the like to this episode and subbing to Mayo Media Network on YouTube. And there's one final chance to get in the draw for $500 cold, hard cash. The winners announced on Friday's show with Tyler Tambolini talking about DraftKings. All you need to do is subscribe, download, rate, and review the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and boom, you are in that draw for $500. Takes less than 30 seconds to do, so it's a good ROI if you're a winner on it, right? 30 seconds for $500. That's a trade I would make. You should make that choice as well. All those details down in the description and comment section right now. Okay? Rob Pizzola, 3-0 last week. The gold, the silver, the bronze. Didn't matter. You were a winner, sir. Congratulations.
Great. I appreciate that. It's nice to get off to a hot start, or a good start, I should say. Typically speaking, first couple weeks of the season have not been good for me for the last 3 or 4 years, and I'm digging out of a hole. So it's nice to be on the opposite end of the spectrum for once, and obviously nice for my Cowboys to pull out a victory in week 1. That's always nice when your favorite team gets off to a good start as well. So all in all, great week 1. I'm very happy going into this week.
Overall, I mean, Rob really carried us. 2-1 on the gold picks, as I got mine correct, because the Arizona Cardinals barely came through, but they came through. We were 1-2 on the silver picks, because Cam, you and I both got those ones incorrect. But 2-1 on the bronze. It was funny at the end of, because I usually go last in the bronze picks, and I think I ran through 6 bets, and I ended up on the only one that didn't win.
Yeah, no. And honestly, I got something to say. Jeff Feinberg's Chargers, like, honest to God, like, what the hell's going on here? Like, with that game, 4-point lead, everything. Like, God, like, the NFL feels like it's one step over wrestling when I'm watching this stuff. Rob, would you not agree? Like, did some of these games, it's just, anyway, whatever. I should have gone with Rob's Cowboys. I liked it, but I did a stupid pick. And then I found out everybody in the Super Contest was on the Steelers. I'm like, I'm doomed.
Yeah, it's a tough one. But you know what? Sometimes the consensus ones win. Green Bay was like a big consensus one last week. I was actually reading the comments on last week's video, Pat, and I think there was some people.
Why are you reading comments on videos? That's the craziest thing you could ever do.
It doesn't, but they don't bother me. They don't actually bother me. So that's why I just like to use it as a feedback mechanism, usually. Like if somebody says, oh, Rob is doing this too much or whatever, I like the feedback. Personally,
what do they say about me, Rob? I'm just a shitty capper with a blonde eyebrows.
You're definitely very loved.
Cam is a big fan favorite when it comes to the comment section. Favorite. Now they're going to say Rob is winning too much. This isn't interesting anymore.
Yeah. All of a sudden, Mr. Unit's here, and then they're going to take you down, Rob. Come on.
Well, what I found interesting was the amount of people in the comments last week that thought the Chicago Bears were going to be the Kansas City Chiefs this season. Like as soon as I picked you guys are underrating the Bears, improved. Yeah, they signed a bunch of linebackers in the offseason, vastly improved. Guess what? Justin Fields is still missing everybody down the field. Cannot make a throw. I don't know what people saw in the Bears there, but Rob Pizzola 1, Pat Mayo, Mayo Media Network commenters 0.
Is this going to be your feud this year? People in the comment section?
You know what? I've feuded with Cam for a while, but it's a little bit artificial. Like I just push his buttons because I know I can get him going.
He just rips could like be a real bands feud that I like. He just comes at me, rips oysters. Like I really don't care. Rob knows stuff. Basically our relationship is he's really good because like I know people like try to grind my gears and sometimes I'm just like fuck off. But Rob does a really good job. Like he's really good at poking the bear. But we're in real life, Pat. Like we get along great. Me and his dad, like literally Rob's dad and I, like he got me like deep into horse racing too when we used to go up the Woodbridge at Wags. And no, I'm a big fan of the Pizzola family. Even Junior is a really good kid. Nice guy.
Nice of you, Cam.
If you haven't checked it out yet, I would highly recommend going to listen or watch the Spread Pick show from this week, where you get a Tim Andercust who is very much in denial about this Jets season, where he's really trying to put on a brave face. He even declared them the hypothetical Super Bowl champions, and that he had claimed that he capped the season perfectly because it was very clear that the Jets were going to win the Super Bowl after the first 4 plays that he saw with Rodgers. And now that's all been taken away from him.
Pat, I'm going to tell you something, and this is no bullshit. I actually predicted Rodgers getting hurt in that game. I didn't say it was going to be 4 plays. Like, run the tape. I have a weird feeling this guy's going to get hurt. I thought it was going to be like maybe third, fourth quarter, just get absolutely torqued by somebody on the Bills. But I told you, this guy's on mushroom trips. He's going to caves. He's around the world. I know it's bad turf in New York. It's horrible turf, actually. You can't have investments in those type of players and play on a surface that shitty. But I'm going to say this guy also has a lot of things going on in his life, right? Like, and he looked old, skinny, brittle. It was bound to happen. It happened early, but I don't know how you guys feel about it. I had a feeling he wasn't going to get through very far this year.
Well, I want to know how you think the Jets are going to win the Super Bowl after the first 4 plays with Rodgers, where they ran the ball once and he dropped back to pass 3 times. He got pressured on all 3 pass dropbacks.
You're right, Rob. I honestly, if Rodgers stayed in the game, I think the Bills would have won. I know that's a crazy take, but no, because at least Wilson, for all his mistakes, he can move. He's mobile, right?
And he is a backup quarterback who you would tend to love because you love all backup quarterbacks. So I totally get it.
Let's get to
it took 5 minutes before there was one injury to a starter so far where a backup's coming in and Cam already is praising the backup. Oh, Wilson can move.
I'm saying he could move. I didn't say he was good.
Okay,
he can move.
Let's throw this out here. Zach Wilson is now officially by far the worst starting quarterback in the NFL.
No, not even close.
Yes, he is.
There's way worse out there.
No, there isn't.
Yes, there is.
No, there's not.
This is a good question. This is a good question.
Zach Wilson or Dobbs?
Dobbs. That's not close.
Better?
Zach
Wilson or Sam Howell?
Sam Howell.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Like that's
What about Indianapolis's quarterback who got hurt? He's a rookie. What about him?
You mean the guy who was just picked 4th in the draft, who's awesome? Yeah, I'll take phony Tony. Zach Wilson is horrible. Zach Wilson is horrible.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm just saying, give the guy a chance.
No, we did. We've given him a chance.
How many chances does he need to have?
He's young. He's gonna grow.
Into what? So he's gonna be. You know what? You're gonna love Zach Wilson when he's the Rough Riders quarterback. Or the Orlando Renegades or something like that in the USFL.
Anyway, there's worse quarterbacks than him out there. Let's figure this.
You mean in the world? Sure. In the NFL? No.
All the rookies are not better.
Yes, they are.
Bryce Young better than him?
Yes, he is. Bryce Young is better than Zach Wilson.
Just let me see this. I got one for you. Desmond Ridder is worse than Zach Wilson.
No, he's not.
End of discussion.
No, he's not.
He sucks.
No. Yeah, listen, I'm not going to tell you that Desmond Ridder is good, but Zach Wilson sucks. We have seen this.
We'll have this discussion on another day. My blood pressure is so high. I just got up, and we're already attacking me with backup quarterbacks. I'm just saying these young kids still got to prove themselves.
What does Zach Wilson have to prove? He's already proven that he's terrible. At least these other guys, there's mystery.
He has a horrible offensive line.
Oh yeah,
people are calling.
So he gets every excuse in the book, despite the fact that we've seen him for 3 years and he's fucking dog shit.
It's like these fucking trolls who say Daniel Jones sucks. God couldn't have got away from that Dallas pass rush. It ain't his fault. You got to protect the guy. Yeah. Just saying.
But it's a different level. Like people at one point ripped Daniel Jones for sure, and he had a bad O-line as well. Got Brian Daboll. But Zach Wilson has a very long track record.
He's not good. Young. I get it, but there's worse. So anyway, end of discussion. He is not the worst quarterback in the league. He's in the bottom tier, in my opinion.
I'm right in the middle of you guys. Like, it's possible that Desmond Ridder is worse than Zach Wilson. It's possible that Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. I just don't know what those quarterbacks are yet. But I know with a pretty high degree of certainty what Zach Wilson is. Fair. And it's just like the second coming of Mark Sanchez, basically.
No, Mark Sanchez was like a league median quarterback who took teams to AFC championship games. Zach Wilson is legitimately terrible. And if it wasn't such a big cap number, Zach Wilson can't be a game manager because he can't fucking throw 3 yards. All he can do is throw interceptions. A better quarterback was Brock Purdy with a torn UCL in the NFC Championship game last year. Because at least he didn't even try to throw. So here, have a handoff.
What do you think about Justin Fields?
Yeah, Justin Fields not good. Rather have him as my starting quarterback over Zach Wilson.
That's debatable.
Really?
Anyway,
what sort of team are you putting together?
This guy sucks. Just because he can run, he is the worst.
He can run. Well, I mean, you just said Zach Wilson was great because he can move. Justin Fields, he can really move.
He can really move. He's a faster horse, but he makes just as bad. Anyway, we could do this. We could talk about this all fucking day. Let's just get to the picks. And I love you, Pat, but I'm sorry. You guys are really being hard on this guy. I know he's not good, but there's bad.
How did I get lumped into this? I'm like
I
in
said
between
Pat.
you
I
guys.
didn't say you, Rob. I complimented
You guys.
you for going
You
3-0.
said you guys.
And I
Quote.
complimented your family, for God's sake.
Okay, that's fine, but that doesn't let you off the hook forever.
Okay. Yeah.
I also
off the
think
hook. Off the hook. Okay.
off the hook. Yeah, that's I don't know what was a bad terminology.
I don't know.
Totally acceptable in this situation.
We starting with gold, or can we work bottom up?
We don't work bottom up. Gold picks. Detroit against Cam Seahawks, -5.5. They might win by 40.
Okay.
That's your gold pick?
Yes. The Seahawks are terrible, and now they don't have they don't have either their right tackle or their left tackle. They're signing 40-year-olds to be on their offensive line now.
Yeah. Okay, so this is like the game where most people will be like, oh, this is the classic week 2 overreaction game, right? Detroit beats the Super Bowl champs. The Seahawks look bad. Look ahead line was -3. Now it's -5.5. Got to take the points with Seattle. I'm actually with Pat on this one. I'm not betting Detroit, but I think Detroit's the right side. And I think that there is a legitimate chance the Seahawks are bad because they can't generate any pressure on the quarterback. They blitzed a bunch last week and still couldn't get home on Matt Stafford. There was holes all over their secondary last week. Stafford played a great game. And on top of that, you do add in the offensive line injuries now. You add in the fact that Geno in the latter half of last year was going way downhill, and it looks like he started way downhill so far this year. And I'm with Pat. I mean,
I was going to make Seattle my gold pick, but you know what? I don't know what you guys did before the show. No, I'm not. You know what? I have a list here, and I just don't want any more confrontation today. My blood pressure is going through the roof. It feels like it's in my neck. Anyway,
I will not confront you for a Seattle gold pick. I honestly think there's a legitimate case for them. Like if you think last week was just an anomaly, which a lot of people do, they might think that Seattle's still a very good team. They just played a bad game. Detroit got, by the way, very lucky. Like how many balls is Kansas City going to drop in that game?
Exactly.
Detroit should have lost, but let's not pretend Seattle is fucking Kansas City.
Hey, you guys need to settle down. They had one bad game, okay? They were cocky. McVay had a game plan, and those jackasses from the USFL tore them up. That's the problem with Seattle. They're reading their own mail. Oh, we're good. They didn't show up. They quit. They had 12 yards of offense in the second half. Pete Carroll was fucking chewing gum. Like, I'm just going to tell you, that game made me sick. It was one of the worst performances by a team ever. And if they do it again, then we'll validate your point next week. They are not that bad.
They can't block. If they can't block and Geno can't stay upright, he's in the Zach Wilson zone again.
Geno looked like he got into the Colt 45s after he got the bag. He looked horrible. Like it was awful. Like
Drew
it was
Lock
actually
rookie
sad
cards.
to watch. What?
Drew Lock rookie cards very live right now.
I told you. Backup quarterbacks again. You know what? If Geno plays like shit, I'd love to see Drew Lock give it a chance, and he'll be fine.
And then they can trade Geno to the Jets.
It all comes full circle. They might as well trade for Sam Darnold too while they're at it and just see which of them works out the best.
Well, there were some rumors about that already.
I woke up today. I
don't know why.
This is torture.
Anyway, if they can't keep Geno upright, it's twofold. Like so much of their success last year was around drafting these O-linemen, and all of a sudden their O-line was healthy all year. These guys were good all year long. They were able to keep him upright, and they were able to run block. Now they lose the two most important parts of their offensive line. They can no longer block whatsoever, and although, listen, Hutchinson isn't Aaron Donald, but he's pretty fucking good at the same time. He is going to be in their face all day long, and if they cannot alleviate the pressure by effectively running the ball, which I don't think they're going to be able to do with a depleted offensive line, like I have no faith that the Seahawks defense is going to stop the Lions offense, which did not look good on Thursday night. And don't forget, they're coming off 10 days rest too. That's a significant advantage.
Buzzsaw, Detroit Lions home opener, like probably one of the biggest home field advantages of any team over the course of the year. Listen, this is the NFL. We make cases for sides that are probably like, maybe if we like one side has like a 55 to 60% chance of winning. I get the argument for Seattle. I get like the line value, the way it's shifted. You're evaluating them off of one game where they looked really bad, but I'm just not high on Seattle. Like I think that they have a lot more weaknesses and holes than people realize. And if the quarterback play is going to be like what it was last week, I think Detroit's going to win by margin. So I would rather bet Detroit than Seattle in this game.
Well, let's just go to another shitty team that I have on my list. All fucking shit, horrible pick, shit. You know what, Pat? Give me the fucking Houston Texans as my gold pick this week against Indianapolis. They're at home. Richardson's banged up. They're getting, what are we getting? 2 points? Sorry, I'm always trying to buy a point. Is it 1 on this week or is it 2? I don't know what the hell it is. Let me take a look.
1.
1.
Oh, whatever. I don't give a shit. They're going to win the game by 4. Give me Houston.
I can see it. And we got to see with, I like the Colts in this game just because I think Richardson's better than Stroud, but I want to see D'Amico Ryans deploy this defense against not Lamar Jackson. Although I thought they did a pretty good job. Lamar didn't look good in that game, but
they hung in there for a while. I'm going to tell you something. Indianapolis, they had a trick play. That score was not indicative of anything. They're not a good football team, okay? And I'm not saying Houston's a good football team, but you're going to take that show on the road to Houston. I'll take Houston. I'd still bet this line up to 2.5, 3. It's +1. Give me the Houston Texans. They get it done at home, win this game. That's my opinion.
I have a lean to Houston in this game as well.
I
think the best unit of on the field in this game is Houston's defense by a mile. And typically when you have two bad teams playing one another, I like to go with a unit that I think is going to be strong. They pressured Lamar on 42% of his dropbacks last week. And that's a veteran quarterback, better offensive line. Now, granted, they had some injuries on the O-line last week, which made it easier to get pressure. But ultimately, I trust Houston's defense more to pressure Richardson than I do the Colts defense to pressure Stroud at this point. Now, I'm not betting the game because it's like two rookies. I don't know what it's going to be. But in the span of a week, we've gone from Houston being favored to Houston now being the underdog. Not a huge shift, like not valuable, meaningful numbers. But I think Houston should be a small favorite in this game personally. So I lean with Cam on this one.
I think it just boils down to that, at least offensively, Richardson just looked way better than Stroud. Like, Stroud did all of his damage in absolute garbage time. That's the one thing that I worry.
We'll see what Richardson does on the road. That's
true.
That'll be a true test.
He's going to run. He's going to try to bowl people over. That's going to be his move. And
then he's going to get hurt because he just got murdered in that game versus Jacksonville. That Houston defense might put that kind of pretzel.
That might not be a good thing, though. Minshew, although he could not score from the goal line,
he is a backup quarterback.
He is a
Minshew's
backup.
a pretty good backup quarterback.
I would actually agree with that.
Imagine,
so maybe you know what?
Imagine. I don't like every backup.
Imagine if Minshew was the Jets quarterback. They'd be way better than having Zach Wilson.
Yes.
No, I agree with that too.
Yes.
We agree sometimes. I don't know why you guys come at me with the backup quarterback. Some are great, some are very good, and some are shit.
Mm-hmm. Except most of the ones we ever talked about on this show are very good. That's why. That's the reason.
So Detroit -5.5 for me. Houston +1 for Cam. Rob, you're 3-0 to start the year, 1-0 in gold picks. Let's make it 2-0.
Perfect all year.
Yeah, I'm going to go with like the super square play of the week here, but I'm taking the Chiefs -3 at the Jags.
That was going to be
I continue to want to fade the Jags crap defense. Like, their defense is horrendous. They blitzed at a very high rate last week against the Colts. They generated pressure at about half of that rate. They don't have a very good secondary. They lost Arden Key in the offseason, which was a very big loss. He went over to Tennessee, but he generated a ton of pressure for them a season ago. And you now have the Chiefs with extra time to prepare. Andy Reid, known for being very good, with extra time to prepare. You have a team that honestly dropped 1 million balls last week. What is the likelihood of that happening again this week? Very low, in my opinion. So I think it's a good buy low spot for Kansas City. And honestly, Anthony Richardson did move the ball on Jacksonville last week. They did have the 3 turnovers. They got stopped inside of Jags territory 3 times on 4th down, turnover on downs. So it's not like the Jags defense was very good a week ago. Do I have concerns about Kansas City's defense? Of course. But I'm essentially taking Mahomes to win a game here. And this is not like a Kansas City game where they're favored 9.5, which they've struggled in the past, covering these big margins. This is a game where they have to win by just more than a field goal. I really like the matchup for them. So I'm going to take the Chiefs -3 as the gold.
I like that as well coming into this. And it's funny, if it's not just the drops that killed Kansas City a week ago. They win that game and they cover that game if Tony just simply drops the ball and doesn't tip it up to the defender for a pick 6. Just put it on the ground and you're good.
Yeah. Yeah. If it doesn't go directly through his hands, like perfectly through his hands, and it just like hits something and falls down, completely different game. But yeah, I mean, like this
Can we all agree that Tony reeks?
Oh yeah, Hunky Tony? No, thank you.
Yeah. No,
He's the real phony Tony.
No, that guy's awful. Like for all the skills that he has, he's got like hands of rock. It's awful.
Yeah,
telling
hamstrings
you,
of rock as well.
I mean,
good call.
All of these guys all season long, like the Chiefs need to go get like Cole Beasley or something like that.
It's a good call, actually.
Just a guy who's going to make every 7-yard catch and not go anywhere afterwards, just fall to the ground.
Yeah, new school Ricky Prohl. That's exactly what they need. And that's kind of Cole Beasley. Yep, I get it.
I don't know if you saw this, Rob. However, on the Sunday Night Live show that we do at 7:15 Eastern every single Sunday on Mayo Media Network, Cust admitted to eating half a box of frozen mozzarella sticks.
Frozen mozzarella sticks. This man is disturbing. Like, it doesn't even take that long to cook the mozzarella sticks. It's one thing if you have to put them in the oven for like an hour and a half, like bake a lasagna or something like that. You literally could throw those in the microwave for minutes and they would come out and be edible.
You're telling me he took mozzarella sticks, not thawed, frozen. And ate them without heating them up.
Correct, because there was a power outage.
And I'm getting ripped for eating oysters? That's fucking insane.
Who is ripping you for eating oysters?
Anyway,
I love oysters. All Rob says that you have to eat them quickly and don't let them like fester for a while.
Exactly. I've said two things.
They got a window about like they have a stamp on them. But
I've said two things.
He should be. I love Cust. He should be incarcerated. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like that's insane.
I also need to the oyster stuff, like Pat said, eat them quickly. And I also said that they're not a great football food.
Like, I also told you that they have benefits. If you have a lady partner and you're
they're an aphrodisiac. I get it. I understand.
It's a parlay. Powdered milk, dark chocolate, and oysters. Figure it out. It wins every time. Gold, silver, bronze. There you go.
Oh, my God.
Silver picks. I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers, minus 7.5 on the road, at the Los Angeles Rams. It's funny because we talked about the Seattle thing. Like, I just don't think Seattle's good. I've been pretty firm on my Seattle's not good coming into the year, and I thought the Rams were going to be good. And so week 1 made a lot of sense to me. Really should have made it one of the picks here. But San Francisco looked good on the road last week. They're going to look even better on turf this week, being fully healthy. And the Rams just are not as good as they looked a week ago. They're going to have infinite problems trying to score points on the 49ers at full health with all of their guys and a better team. They suck against the 49ers. Can't envision this going very well. And I think that people will be like, oh, it's a lot of points in division home. No, the Niners are good. The Niners are healthy. The Niners are going to stop a mud hole in the Rams at SoFi, Cam.
You know what? I'm with you. It's like I watched that Rams game. Seattle just played like the worst game ever. If San Francisco brings their game the way they brought it to Pittsburgh, the Rams are going to get throttled. It's going to get real ugly. But it's a lot of points, home dog. But then again, we've talked about this too, this LA home field advantage shit. It's not even real.
Nothing.
It's nothing. Other teams travel. You know what, Pat? If San Francisco shows up and literally if they're not drunk or on drugs, they should win this game by 2 touchdowns minimum.
Every regular season game under Brock Purdy, they've scored at least 30 points.
Yeah.
So you're now, listen, that's not a guarantee that they're going to score 30 every game, but obviously they have a very high flying offense. You're going to need the Rams to score like 24-ish or so to cover. Yeah. And they're small offensively. Like the Rams don't have a good offensive line. Their skill position players are small. 49ers defense is big, like physical defense. I don't like this because it just feels like a little bit of an inflated price, but
it's not. It's going back the other way. It was 8.5. Now it's 7.5.
Yeah, it also opened like 7 and it got bet up off of 7, which is a key number. So and it depends on like the teaser zone as well. There's a lot of stuff that comes into play here, but I couldn't bet the Rams. Like I'm not saying that I could. I also don't think laying 7.5 on the road in the NFL over a long period of time is a winning proposition either. I'm just like indifferent on the game. Could the 49ers win 42-0? Yes. That would not surprise me. Like it's well within the possibility that it happens, but maybe Stafford is actually good again. Like he was amazing last week.
Even when Stafford is good, let's not pretend like the Niners haven't beat the Rams 8 of the past 9 times. Like if you talked about styles make matchups, and you were correct last week with the Browns when I took the Bengals. Cam was right about that too. And there are certain teams. I mean, the Bills and the Jets, I think, are a pretty good example of this right now too. Josh Allen sucks against that defense, and he has.
You want to talk about a guy that's regressing? That's called Josh Allen's getting worse by the day.
Let's see when he posts like 45 on the Raiders this week. Everyone's gonna be, oh, Josh.
I
Allen's
love the Bills
fine
this week. I know but he's not fine, Pat. Sure, if he beats the Raiders by 45, it doesn't matter. He's not fine. He can't make good decisions. He's running too much. And you know what? He gets rattled. He'll have a couple drives where he just loses his mind. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but he makes way too many mistakes, and he's holding Buffalo back.
He forces it a lot. He forces it.
That's it.
That's like his big thing. But the thing with that, like, I agree in terms of styles there's actually statistical evidence to prove that teams that play well against certain teams tend to continue to play well against those teams.
Happens in every sport.
Of course. Even if you grew up playing, like, I never played pro sports, but I played like rep hockey, rep soccer, and stuff like that. And I played high school.
Professional athlete? Come on.
But if you've played sports, there's certain teams that you play against and you're like, this team gives us problems. Or this team, like, we're going to smoke them because we always smoke them type of situation. There is something stylistically that happens in sports. The only problem is, like, when San Fran and LA were playing for like the last 3, 4, 5 years where Shanahan owns McVay, the spreads were like pick 'em, -1, -2, -3. They weren't -7.5. So, like, the market has adjusted a lot at this point. And while I still think San Fran is likely to win this game by margin, I do think Stafford is the backdoor king, for one. Very good in situations where he has to come from behind. And I just don't want to, like, lay that amount of points.
I just think you're dealing with one of the 5 best teams in the NFL, one of the 3 best offenses, and maybe the best defense against a team that was able to generate pressure against a sieve offensive line and a defense that sucks last week. The Rams are going to be fine. They're like a slightly below 500 team. Maybe it breaks in their favor when Cooper Kupp comes back. I just don't see how they score points here.
I can see that being an issue.
Yeah,
I can. The 49ers defense is very good.
Oh, they're animals.
Yeah.
Them in Dallas, it's like a bunch of guys who got released from prison and they're just ready to kill people. Like, it's unreal.
So that's my silver selection. Rob, let's hear yours.
Okay, could go a number of ways here. See what I want to figure out for silver. I'll go with Monday Night Football. I'll take the Carolina Panthers +3 against the New Orleans Saints. Kind of ugly, obviously, with the Carolina offense. But this number doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. You're basically suggesting that New Orleans is 5 points better than Carolina on a neutral field. I don't like the New Orleans Saints offense. Their offensive line is a disaster. Their left tackle, Trevor Penning, is going to have a nightmare matchup against Brian Burns. They don't have good interior offensive linemen. Last week against Tennessee, the Titans got hosed out of a defensive touchdown because they blew the play dead. Ryan Tannehill missed 2 touchdown passes where he had receivers wide open for the touchdown. Tennessee could not score in the red zone, any of their trips into the red zone. And that was still a very close game, one that the Saints barely pulled out at home. Now they go out on the road. Very different story. Derek Carr, outdoor road games in his career, one of the worst quarterbacks in terms of his splits when he's inside or playing at home versus outdoor road games. We've seen it time and time again over the years, especially when he's in the role of the favorite. Ultimate gagger. I don't think that this is a very good line. I'll take the field goal. Even with the J.C. Horn injury, I think Carolina's defense is going to get enough pressure that they're really going to rattle Carr.
You know what it is too, Rob? I don't think people are understanding. Carr holds on to the ball way too long. If you look at the numbers, it's a real issue. I think the Saints guys will be more of a play-on team when Kamara comes back because he could be a safety valve. Right now, it's just not working out. And Chris Olave can't do everything. Thomas has been in the league a long time with major injuries. So, you know what, Rob? Maybe, it's a divisional game. I think the Saints are going to win. I don't know if they're going to win by more than 3. It's going to be a very tight game.
Well, this is kind of was like my feeling with Denver and Las Vegas last week. And we're not getting the hook here, but you need a team that, in my opinion, does not have like a great offense to win by margin. And I just don't agree with the number. Like, there's just so many times where this lands a flat 3, but there's so many times where the Panthers win the game as well. Panthers-Falcons, very misleading last week, by the way. Panthers outgained them, yards per play, success rate, everything, but the turnovers were extremely costly. You're not going to bank on losing the turnover margin by 3 every game. Carolina's first drive, they go down the field, they get stopped on 4th and 1 at the Atlanta 12-yard line as well. So I think that game was a lot closer than people realize. They look at the final score. You see 24-10. Panthers got blown out. It didn't play like a blowout game against Atlanta. I think a lot of these teams in the NFC South are honestly very, very tightly packed. I like the underdogs in a lot of games when they play.
I do worry. Like I did go back and I watched every snap of that Carolina and Atlanta game, and they were able to somewhat move the ball, but there was no big play potential with Carolina. And every opportunity Bryce Young had a chance to make a really terrible decision, he did. And I do think that the Saints defense is going to be the real problem for Carolina here. That, yeah, it's going to be tough for the Saints offense to win by margin. I agree, but they could cover the spread 9-3.
Well, that's possible. We saw some games last year with the Saints where they covered in like low scoring games. That was with Andy Dalton, obviously. But the thing with the Saints is that they can be gashed in the running game as well. Like their best run defenders are on the edge, and up the middle, you'll get some big gains. Now, Derrick Henry is much different than what Carolina's rolling out there, obviously. But again, I don't know. It's just the same vibe to me as a few games last week, which I ended up betting. One of them was Tennessee against New Orleans. One of them was Las Vegas against Denver, where I had no faith in the opposing defense, or the opposing offense. But it's like, guess what? This other team has to win by 4 or more to cover the spread. And I just don't think that happens very often. So I really like Carolina in this spot.
Cam, the Panthers boasted a record of 5-1 in divisional games against the spread a year ago, while the Saints were 1-5 against the spread in division.
Nice stats. I'm just watching TV right now. Justin Trudeau looks like he's on steroids. The guy is like a monster. And he's
that means there's a campaign coming soon. He probably shaved the beard. He's got the six-pack back.
He's
looking fresh.
This guy, he looks like a Hollywood. He's got a tan.
Well, he's back on the market again.
That's
now,
right. Oh,
so
good call, Pizzola. He's out there. Plentyoffish.com.
It changes when you're comfortably married and you got a serious girlfriend. You know, the belly starts to come into full place.
Been in like Monte Carlo for 2 weeks. Anyway, Pat, do you want to go before me, or do we always have to go in the same order? I'm still thinking.
I already went. I took San Francisco.
Oh yeah, you did.
So it's your pick.
So there's so many things I want to do that are so dumb and stupid.
Do it. Take Zach Wilson.
Taking one of the worst quarterbacks in the league as my silver pick. I'm taking the Chicago Bears +3 against Tampa Bay. Am I nuts?
No, you want to talk about winning by margin. I watched in real time. Mike Evans had some bad drops in that game is one thing I'll say, but the Tampa Bay offense is not going to be very. There's not going to be a bounty of points in Bucs games. Their defense is pretty good. So if they get a defensive score, maybe they cover it. But this just feels like the Bears win or the Bucs win by 3. In neither of those situations do they cover. So yeah, I like the Bears here.
Thank you, Pat. What about you, Rob?
So this is like another one that's being deemed like the overreaction game, right? Like if they played last week, game would have been a pick 'em. Now it's Bucs -3. I watched the full Bucs and Vikings game, and what Pat says is right for maybe like 2/3 of the game. And then what happened was the Bucs started running a hurry up offense and they started playing tempo and they were able to move the ball very consistently.
Sure.
I don't like the Bears at all.
But short was the big thing with them. There were no big plays. As soon as they reined Baker in, and when they were using Sean Tucker running the ball and not Rachaad White, their offense was actually way better. But it was just a lot. And Baker's stiff arm for a first down. I was like, where's this guy been all my life? But as soon as they started limiting as soon as they took Keift out of the offense, that was a good move because he was fucking doing nothing. I think he thought it was Mike Allstott that he was trying to get the ball to. I have no idea what Baker was up to there, but just quick passes, 5 yards at a time. It kept the chains moving, but you're not going to score a lot of points in an offense like that because those drives are going to take forever, but you do get to keep the ball. But their defense looked like the Bucs defense again, though.
This is my problem with this matchup in particular. You're not going to beat the Bucs by running the ball on them. Like Justin Fields is going to have to make throws because the Bucs have a pretty sound run defense when everyone is healthy. Remember, Vita Vea's healthy this year. They get players back. Like the defense was very, very injured last season. And we saw them hold a very good Vikings offense, in my opinion, at home a week ago. So Fields is going to have to make plays in the passing game, and I don't trust them to do that. My gut is Tampa's going to win this game like 20-13 or something along those lines where it's going to be ugly.
20-19.
Sure.
Sound good?
I think that you're going to see Justin Fields be the king of the backdoor cover in garbage time in a lot of these games.
I will say this too,
That's
guys.
possible.
There's something that DJ Moore knows the secondary in Tampa Bay really, really well. Against Green Bay, they had a good game plan against him. I think he can actually show up in this game, and I think he's surprisingly going to have a good game. Also, the Bears running attack, they actually, Khalil Herbert, I watch it, like they run hard. Like it's just one of those things. It's just, they need to come up with a game plan. It's just one of those things. And Green Bay scored on a couple really weird plays too, guys. Remember the Bears were driving. They got stopped on 4th down. Green Bay, like I got to be honest, LaFleur and his crew really opened it up and scored on some stuff where you thought they were going to punt. And they did all sorts of wild stuff. And I don't think that score was indicative of like, sure, Green Bay murdered them, but it was just like the Bears did some good things in that game. I don't trust Tampa Bay. I'm going to take the 3.
I agree with you entirely on that. I had a big bet on Green Bay. I've watched the full game. It definitely wasn't a game that they won by 18 points. Like the game was very close for a long time, but ultimately Chicago just really couldn't get the ball moving through the air, and Green Bay figured out a way. Like it's coaching adjustments as the game went on, but the Bears defense is bad. I get it. Listen, like this is another one. This is very similar to me for Seattle, Detroit, right? It's like, it's definitely, we've played one game for each of these teams. The market has reacted like the Bucks are now all of a sudden are going to be like a 500 team, and the Bears are going to be picking first overall, or at least in the top 3 or something like that. But the thing is, I kind of agree with both of those things. Like, I think the Bears are going to be really bad, and I think the Bucks might be way more competitive than we give them credit for because their defense is very good. So I'm in the boat of like, I think this is just the proper number. Like at 3, I don't want anything to do with the game. I think there's so many instances where Tampa wins by exactly 3.
This is the whole problem, Rob. Like there's like 4 other games that I like, and I feel the exact same way. Like, and I always seem to pick the wrong one, but I like the Bears all week. And I like, remember I was going to take Dallas and I got off it. You got to stick with your instincts too when we're doing this stuff, because 3 is hard to narrow down because I like probably 6 or 7. So I'm going to take the Bears, Pat. I really think I think they're going to win this game outright.
Yeah, I mean, I have that division bet on the Bucks, so I hope that the Bucks win because they need to bank, especially
they win by 1.
Bucks by 1.
2 to
Bucks by 1.
Bucks by 1. Everyone comes away a winner, and then
Yep.
Tampa Bay can start running away with this division. That would be very nice. Reminder to all of you out there to play in the DraftKings Listeners League. It's over half full already. That link is down in the description. 3 max entry, $15 to play. No rake. No rake in a DraftKings tournament means it's the best tournament on DraftKings. $5,000 to the winner. So go do that. All right. Bronze picks. Cam, do you have one off the top of your head, or do you need a minute?
I need more than a minute, but
Okay,
I throw? I'm gonna throw you things that I lean to, and then
Are we gonna play a game again this year? Let's play a game.
What's the game?
The game is you throw out all the games that you like, and then we just collectively decide on your bronze. We did that last year. It worked out really well.
One time we did. Okay. My game picks are Bills. I can't believe I'm saying this. Chargers.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Oh, they're not going to make the card. Trust me. Jets.
No.
Yes.
No.
It's a lot of points.
Yeah,
it is a lot of points.
When your team total is projected to be 0, it's tough to cover numbers.
Steelers, I lean to.
Steelers, I like.
Patriots, I like Patriots. Lean to.
Don't like the Patriots.
Oh boy. This
Bills and Pittsburgh. I can get behind those. For me, I don't know what Rob thinks.
I'm taking the Seattle Seahawks as my bronze pick.
Oh, well, there's a loser.
I'm not getting off it. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if Detroit blows these guys out. I got it.
You realize that this spread is 5.5. There's a dot there. It's not 55, right?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Didn't you take Seattle as your gold pick? What happened? What was the goal?
No, yeah, he took Houston.
Oh, Houston. Yeah, never mind. I thought, yes. My bad. I apologize, Cam.
Well, I was going to take the Bills because I think they're going to murder the Raiders after everyone's down on them, but I got to stick to my guns. Give me Seattle plus 5.5. I think they show up this week. I think Detroit's going to get cocky thinking it's going to be an easy game. We'll learn a lot about Seattle. You guys could be right. If Detroit blows them out of the water, maybe the Seahawks are shit, but I'll give them one more week with an inflated line. Detroit beat them last year too. Should be a lot of fireworks in this game. You're right, Pat. The offensive line is very concerning, but you know what? I like Seattle.
See, I really hope they show up too, because I don't want my bet to be voided if they just decide to walk away from the game or something like that.
what they tried to do last week. DK Metcalf was just laying people out on the field in the fourth quarter.
Honest to God, that's what happens when you have a coach like Pete Carroll. There's no discipline on that team. The guy's like he might as well be a cheerleader. He doesn't even care what these guys do. It's ridiculous.
It was like back-to-back plays where I think Seahawks players just destroyed a defenseless Rams defender, just like crushed them. DK is massive too, by the way. Imagine DK Metcalf taking a shot at you when you're not looking. I would disintegrate. I'd turn into dust.
I told you, the guy could grate cheese on his abs. They're like, it's like stone. He could sharpen knives with his stomach. Anyway, I'm taking the Seahawks. And I will regret it later.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we did this last week. You came out on the good side of it against me.
But if the Bills cover and all my other ones cover, I'm gonna be raging next week. You think I'm pissed now?
I don't know. Like I said, I did what you did last week. I gave out 6 games, and the one that I went with was the only
you
loser.
Just went to all my picks. No, Jets, no, Bills, no. Like you guys just basically
I said I love the Bills pick and the Steelers pick, and then you picked one that you didn't even give out.
Wow, looks like
that is factual.
I've gone to a rivalry with the commenters, and Pat's gone to the rivalry with Cam this week. Completely turned.
Pat's my friend, but I just find out like everything I say, I feel like is just gonna get like flushed down a toilet. So I got to go with my original instinct. It's the Seahawks, and if the Seahawks don't cover and Bills and Jets cover or Steelers, I'm going to be raging. But that's life. Give me the Seattle Seahawks. They will lose this game by a field goal and cover.
So, Rob, for my bronze, it's tough because I bet the Giants +4 on Monday. Now it's 5.5. That feels like it's
minus 4.
-4, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, -4. Now it's -5.5 for the Giants on the road in Arizona. I still think I like it, but I guess it's not a big move. 5 is like, it's true.
5 is somewhat dead. And that's not like there are games that end on 5. I don't have the probabilities up in front of me, but it's not a very live number like, 3, 6, 7, 10. So it's not a massive move.
All right, then the Giants -5.5 at the Cardinals. Cardinals came through for me last week. This is where we get to see like a lot of my week 1 wagers were really just based on what I more or less plays against teams. Like I didn't think the Seahawks were good. I'll bet against the Seahawks. Didn't think that the Commanders is the one that I'm looking for. Not the racist name. The Commanders is what I'm looking for. I thought they were one of like the bottom 4 teams in football, so I'll just bet against them. And that worked out with Arizona. Unfortunately, Arizona also sucks, and I don't think that the Giants do. I think they suck against Dallas. That's another one of those. Exactly. Vegas always beats Denver. Dallas always beats the Giants. The 49ers always beat the Rams. Like, it's just one of those things. The Giants are better than this.
I tend to agree. I don't love the price, but I agree. Like, I would never bet Arizona in this game. I think that the issue I have is the Giants O-line right now is an atrocity. Like if Andrew Thomas misses time, their O-line is legitimately the worst in the league. And Arizona actually got very good pressure against Washington a week ago. But with that said, I do love Brian Daboll. I think that he can really game plan something here. They use a lot of motion at the line of scrimmage. Arizona's defensive personnel is still not very good. It does seem like a very good bounce back spot. Like if the Giants had competed with Dallas a week ago, I think this line is certainly higher, maybe even bordering a touchdown. And historically speaking, I'm not actually a huge trends guy, but there are a lot of trends to support teams who got shut out in the previous week and betting them the following week. And the reason why is that those teams tend to be undervalued in the following week because they either had a bad matchup or a stinker of a game and people just like completely jump off the bandwagon. So semi-lean to the Giants for me. I won't personally bet it, but I do think they're the right side.
Cam, the Giants were 7-0 against the spread coming off a loss last year with an average margin of victory of 7 points. So Daboll, good bounce back candidate.
Yeah, it's like the polls, Pat, and like, you know what, you say, these trends suck, you know what I mean? Or you go, these trends are great, depending on your pick, but I totally agree with you. Arizona's fraudulent. Like Washington's just not a good team. That line was inflated. Trust me, Pat, I was with you. Like that line was 7. I was like, it's one of those games, but after getting beat down too, I think it's good to jump on a team. I don't know. Like, I think the Giants definitely win the game. The question is, are they going to win by 5 or more?
I mean,
or is it 6 or more?
Well, I'm going to be betting on now. I mean, I listen, if they win by 5 and I lose it on the show and I win my real bet, then I'm very happy about that. I would prefer they just win both of them, just win by 14 or something like that. It's funny. The other one that I was going to go to was Washington +3.5 against Denver, just because I don't think that Denver can win a game by 4 points.
That's my bronze pick. So
like
we'll
that
just
pick
go
too.
to it there. Like, listen, it's like the square, trendy underdog, whatever, just like the Raiders were last week. But I'm going to pick on the Denver. If you give me these spreads against Denver, their offense is flaccid. They even if Jerry Jeudy is back this week, they do not throw downfield. This is the Sean Payton offense. Russell Wilson, average depth of target's going to be low, 4 yards at a time, run the ball. Like, they do not profile as a team you want to lay points with, period. And to win by 4 or more is very much an uphill climb for them. If you look at last week, the defense could not pressure Jimmy Garoppolo at all. They had one of the worst pressure rates in the entire league a week ago on top of that. So I just can't, listen, the Commanders might suck. Sam Howell might suck. They struggled to put away Arizona. I get all of that, but the Raiders also suck. And they just went and they won on the road at Denver because the Broncos offense is not good. Russ is cooked right now. Until he shows me something else and the ability to throw downfield, how do you ever lay 4 points with this team, or 3.5? They need to win by 4. So Washington, square underdog, and I'm just going to pick on Denver until they show me they can cover spreads as favorites.
That was going to be the exact same logic that I went with, and I just happened to go. I flipped the coin and came up Giants over Washington because I already had money down on that game. So that's it. Those are the gold, the silver, and the bronze picks for the week. Loser of this week has to eat frozen mozzarella sticks, Cam.
Well, why didn't we do that in week 1?
I asked Rob. I've eaten milk bones before. I will not. I'll do basically anything. I will not eat wet dog food. Nothing wet, or cat food. No fancy feast. Things that are dry, like in cookie form, I can handle it. But I just don't understand. Like, Tim doesn't have an oven or a microwave. I used to have a oven that was held up by a hockey stick, but I actually went out and bought an oven when I hit a couple golf winners. But I just don't understand like, usually I'm like, hi, everything's cool. Like, why would you, even the taste, you have to heat them. I'm actually in shock. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what's the benefits?
I have to be starving.
He said that the power was out, and then he was starting to get hungry after 2 hours. And we asked him, why didn't you just
lighter,
eat? Well, we
had a candle and start
or just grab anything else out of your fridge. He just grabbed it because it was at the top of the pile.
I like Cust a lot, but this guy has more issues than me, and that's saying something.
Oh, Rob, if you do get a chance, you can even watch it on my Twitter feed from last night. Jeff claiming that Spanos' son is his friend and reading his DMs to him is just pure gold.
No, this
is
not.
To be honest with you, Rob. Sorry, Rob. Just quickly, Jeff. His relationship with the Chargers, we need to sever it. I'm going to die of a heart attack or high blood pressure. Where they're like, this guy's affiliate. Like, this team is just. I don't even know it's just torturous. Like, every single year, every single week. Like, it's not good for. You know what, Pat? Now he's delusional, thinking he's friends with an owner's kid. They're hanging out and doing DMs. That sounds like bullshit to me.
I'd like to put together like a fake paperhead, like a Chargers letter, and send it to Jeff and be like, we need you to stop being a fan of the team. We're convinced that you're part of the problem here in Los Angeles and the Chargers organization. Like, treat him like he's actually getting fired, or else.
The thing is, Andrew Curse is real, but the Feinberg Charger, he's very successful in every area of his life. He's a candle maven. He's got money. He's got a family. The only thing that doesn't work for him is his football team. And if he gasses it, he'll be the happiest guy in the world. He's already got money and a comfortable life. Lose the Chargers, bro. I know the Seahawks suck. I have no expectations. But every year, the Chargers are, the Chargers. Like, they never do it. Like, it's just like, when? It's
what happens.
Maybe never.
The best was he was going back on a DM chain with him about something, and then Jeff's explanation, he was advising it was from 2019, advising Spanos Jr. to fire Anthony Lynn and hire Brian Dable, which was actually
a conflict of.
No, wow, that's pretty interesting. Well, you know what he should have said? Fire Staley, because he's an absolute jackass. Defensive coach, my ass. He sucks.
He's good. Not.
Isn't that a conflict though? If you're consulting for a team and betting on the games, I don't know that he should have revealed that publicly.
Consulting for the team.
Oh God.
Oh, Paul has something to say.
Yeah, Paul, say it.
Jeff was on a heater last night. Jeff also said that he was gonna record himself
stealing
shoplifting.
bags.
at the grocery store, stealing the bags from the grocery store. I'm like, don't do that. The internet is forever.
Here's the thing. Committing a crime is one thing, but committing a crime and providing the evidence that you've committed the crime, like, don't do that.
First of all,
don't do that, Jeff.
You're a moron because it's almost like you rob a gas station instead of a bank. Why the hell would you take a 35-cent bag? If you're going to do something good. It's the same punishment. It's idiotic. If you want to steal something without a sticker on it and just run it through when they don't do the thing. You want some meat? Sure. But honest to God, stealing a bag and filming it, like you're still going to get in shit for it. So you might as well go big. That's the whole point. You guys not agree?
I agree with you.
I just
I'm not suggesting
I'm
robs
not
a bank,
suggesting stealing anything too, but if you're going to do it, do something at least worth stealing.
Yes.
Not a friggin' fucking shopping bag that costs nothing, a quarter. Like, geez. I just don't understand the people around us. Like, I know I'm an idiot too sometimes, but that's just like frozen mozzarella sticks and stealing 25-cent bags. Like, I don't know.
Just glad we're not a part of that crew, Cam.
I love their crew though. Like Custon, Jeff, we love them, but I gotta tell you, man, it's just like they're making us look normal, Rob, and that's scary.
Well, maybe one of you guys need to jump on the Sunday night show where it's half cooking show now, where that's how the frozen mozzarella sticks came up, because Cust refuses to use an air fryer, despite the fact that it is the best thing that he could ever have in his life.
Air fryers are wicked.
We made him mozzarella sticks in the air fryer live on the show. It took 9 minutes, but then he didn't realize that it would be hot once it came out and instantly put it in his mouth and like burned his mouth.
Yes, that's tough too, because once you burn the roof of your mouth, you're out of commission for like a week.
Done.
Everything you eat for that week is miserable. Pain.
That's the thing. That skin, man, that burns tough. That's tough.
You order the hot pizza, you get the delivery pizza, it shows up, you don't realize how hot it is. That first bite, that can do damage for 7 to 10 days. 7 to 10 days.
Really? You're going 7 to 10 days, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty deep. I give it 3 or 4.
Maybe I have maybe it's the Italian genetics or something like that. I don't know.
Remember when I was eating a piece of pizza, Rob, and I missed it and I bit my tongue and I had to go to the hospital. It was bleeding everywhere. It was it was disgusting. I almost bit my own tongue off. That's a guy who's hungry.
In week 2, we're making mini pizzas for Tim because he is convinced that an air fryer cannot make a mini pizza.
If I come on your show, I'm usually, but by that time I'm usually half in the bag or I got a lot of stress going on.
That's perfect for the live show.
It's not good.
It was actually one of the best shows we ever did for Best Bets as well.
Yeah. Well, when I showed up drunk, okay. Yeah. But maybe Pat. We'll see. One time, I can't be too cut, but I got to be in that zone, kind of like the Geoff zone, where he's hit the pen too hard.
I think it's going to be tough to get Cam out for this week, though, when the Seahawks lose by 35.
That's true. It's going to be a tough scene.
Actually, I have a birthday dinner with my girlfriend, too. We're going to a nice steakhouse, so I can't really do it this week, and we're going to get cranked at the restaurant. And by the way, maybe more oysters at the restaurant, because that's what we do.
Which
oyster tip, too. Vodka, dip them, put the vodka in the whole little bit of hot sauce, bang. That's better than frozen mozzarella sticks, numbnuts.
I like
how you do it.
I do like the Tabasco's big on
it is. Tabasco and
but horseradish. I love horseradish.
Oh yeah, me too, Rob. See, you get it. You get the game. Those are key condiments for.
I might go for some oysters right now after this show.
Yeah, I got to go buy the Metro. They got a box of them for $9.99. That's usually a $17 box. I'm jacked.
Value.
You are the value hunter. That should be. I mean, you just quit betting on sports. We'll get a reality show. We'll call it the Value Hunter, and you can go across the country finding value at supermarkets.
I agree, Pat. It's a great idea, but I will never stop betting on sports. We can do both. Thanks.
Okay.
You can hunt for food value and sports value at the same time. Yeah, just mix them together.
Yeah. We'll figure something.
Powered by DraftKings and some grocery chain. Boom. Easy.
That will do. It's like supermarket sweep, but with also betting.
For the show to be successful, we'd have to do like one that's in both like Canada and America, like Safeway.
Yeah.
We also put it this way. When it comes to advertising or anything like this, just pretend like Canada doesn't exist and you'll do a lot better.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm sponsored by Winn-Dixie or Kroger.
Exactly.
Yep. Food Lion, one of my favorites.
That will do it. on the Pat Mayo Experience. Follow Cam on Twitter at Cam Stewart Live. Rob Pizzola, you can find all of his work on the Forward Progress YouTube channel at thehammer.bet and at Rob Pizzola on Twitter. He's always doing live streams. He has content every single day. Highly recommend that you check it out. Highly recommend that you get in that draw for $500 too. Rating, review, subscribe, download Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. You do both. You get 2 ballots in the draw. Winner announced on Friday's program in the DraftKings Listeners League. It's now open, so go play in it, okay? I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience.
Did you see
Yeah,
this?
that's pretty good.
Do you see this picture up on the...
It's so good.
Oh, jeez. Honestly, that's creepy, kind of. He looks like a creepy kind of Santa Claus there.
Well, that's
Remember
Spanos.
that guy, Rob?
That's
the
Spanos.
mall killer?
That's Spanos, yeah.
Oh, my God. That's so... Oh, God, that's so good. I just can't believe Tim actually ate frozen mozzarella sticks. Then again, I've eaten milk bones before, so I can't really knock the guy. But that was on a bet, though, Rob. That was on a bet. I didn't do it by choice.
Yes, but you continued eating them.
Because there was no other food, and we didn't have a long enough break. I would have gone to the vending machine. I had a bite of it. It was fine.
Also, you
Washed
did
it down.
eat stuff out of that vending machine at the score, which they stocked once a week.
I ate everything from that vending.
I know. That's almost as bad as the dog treats.
Okay. Well, that's a matter of opinion.
Yes. And you're still the number 1 candidate for Pizzagate. I don't want to bring that up again, but
No, I'm going to be honest with you, Rob. I've done a lot of things. I've never stolen anybody's lunch. I've begged. I've sniffed. I've come around like I wanted to do it. I have not walked into a fridge and ever stolen anybody's lunch. That is a fact. I will mooch. I will beg. I will ask, but I've never stolen a person's lunch ever.
fair enough. Maybe I shouldn't have brought that up again.
No,
that
you
brings
shouldn't,
back bad
'cause
memories.
that's just me.
He suffered a lot of accusations during that time, as did a lot of the radio guys. It was you and Morency who were candidates
Like
1
we're
and
the
2.
guys who went to Steve Coolius's fridge. I never fucking touched that guy's fridge. I love how we get blamed for everything. What? Because we're there at night. What about all the other people? What about all the people he pissed off?
I have never seen Morency eat anything, so I doubt it was him.
Actually, you'd be surprised. He stayed at my house for a couple of weeks. He eats buttered chicken and shit now. He's very particular, though. He's like a kid, nothing fancy, like craft dinner. The only thing he likes Indian food, which really shocked me. But he's like a toast guy. He his palate's very. It's kind of like a kid's palate.
I have a friend getting married this weekend. He's almost 40. We were just on the golf trip with him, and he ordered some sort of pasta dish, and it came with onions in it. Because it does. I forget what it was. And then he lost his mind because he doesn't eat vegetables. And then he started following the waitress around with the menu saying, it doesn't say no onions in it. And she was
wow.
It comes with onions. Everyone knows it. It doesn't say it has salt in it either.
Right.
Do
you need the ingredient list?
We know a lot, all of us, we know a lot of psychos, eh? It's just compared to regular people, it's just wild.
Experience!